Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. What the holistic human performance community has turned into is something beyond words. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you. And I wanted to talk about what the community is all about. And really, it just started with me going through a really low time in life, where I did not have my health as a 2-time cancer survivor. And I really leaned into holistic health, that lifestyle, changing everything about it. Really taking a deep dive into energy medicine and spirituality and combining all of these different aspects of mind, body, and soul together that helped me heal on a deep level. And now I am following out my soul's mission and purpose and bringing this to you all. And so I want to invite you inside of the holistic human performance community. We have an app, which is the HHP app on Apple and Google Play, which you can also get all of these goodies on the desktop as well. And really what you're going to find inside of this community, I call it the Virtual Wellness Center. It's going to be all about holistic health, spirituality, energetics, all different practices, tools, modalities. So we have things like sound bath meditations, we have breath work, we have tapping series, we have workouts, we have somatic healing, we have masterclass series, we have programs. I have other professionals come on inside of the app to teach. So there's so many cool things you get inside of this community. And so I wanted to give this to you all as a membership. And what you're getting is a monthly membership where you have 300 plus on-demand videos, plus live stream classes and programs and courses. You're literally getting all of these incredible tools to take with you wherever, whenever you need. And so for $33 per month, you get access to this. Or you can do annual, which is $320 for the year. You're getting all of this inside of the Holistic Human Performance Virtual Wellness Center. And not only that, you could try it out for 1 week free and cancel whenever you want. So these are things that are going to help reprogram your subconscious mind, you regulate your nervous system, keep you healthy and navigating life with full life force energy, and really helping you to express yourself authentically while also enhancing your health and your well-being so that you can find and follow your soul's mission and purpose. So I invite you inside of this community. It is so beautiful and juicy. And not to mention, we have a whole section inside of the app where it is a community forum so we can chat with each other and talk about our wins, what we're going through, and so much more. And I don't know if I mentioned, if you are a one-on-one coaching client, you get full access to the entire Virtual Wellness Center membership. So I invite you inside of the HHP community. Again, you can get your week free trial on Apple or Google Play or right on your desktop at holistichumanperformance.co. The Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Bradshaw Vitale, and today we have a special guest with us. We have Njideka Olatunde. She is a pain relief ambassador. the visionary and creative energy behind Focus on Healing Wellness Institute, an accomplished naturopath and a leading authority on the cultural integration of traditional modalities with conventional medicine for mind, body, and emotional wellness. She is an author, master reflexologist, and instructor, acclaimed speaker, media personality, pain relief educator, pain relief advocate, and healthcare consultant who has helped thousands of chronic pain sufferers relieve pain first using reflexology therapy integrative with alternative holistic medication and addiction-free pain relief in addressing the opioid epidemic plaguing our communities. Without further ado, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jenna, for having me, and I'm looking forward to sharing with your listeners.
Me too. This is a really important topic because honestly, so many people I speak with, they're just in pain all the time. They go to doctors, they get these medications prescribed to them. A lot of them get hooked on these prescription medications, and it's a whole loop of, this addiction, trying to get out of addiction, body still in pain. And a lot of people don't realize that there are alternative ways that you can heal the body. It is absolutely possible. And, people like you, people like me, who genuinely want to help individuals integrate this type of lifestyle that we were not taught growing up. We just were not taught this, or maybe we were in our households, but not in the school system, not, out in society. It's just not spoken about. I think now it's more, you know, there's more awareness.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of white noise, happening out there. We're being bombarded with all this information. So, that's part of why I created this podcast, is to have people like you on to actually get down to the nitty gritty of it and just speak from knowledge, experience, and what they bring to other people. So I'm really excited to have you on. Welcome.
Yes.
So, what's your story? How did you get into holistic health, naturopathic medicine? There's always a story behind it. I'm curious.
Well, let me see how I can condense it in a short version.
For sure.
One of the things I share is that it's interesting what you opened up with your introduction, talking about how we don't know about pain relief from a natural perspective. As a child, I grew up on home remedies.
I almost had the inkling that you did.
And back then, doctors did house calls. So
Mm,
doctors used to come to the home. And so as a child, I'm seeing the doctor and I'm saying, that's what I want to do. I want to be a healer. And because at that time, doctors were very supportive of alternative ways to healing and integrating it with their practices.
right.
And that fascinated me. So by the time I got to college, I got a rude awakening that if I take this path as a career, it's not what I want to do. So I
Yeah.
wound up changing careers and spent my working career as a social worker. So I covered the whole gamut from infants to seniors, every phase of social service. But while as a social worker, one of the things that really concerned me was the fact that everybody was going to the emergency room as their doctor. And I'm saying something's wrong with this picture because we're not seeing how we need to be looking at prevention and
Mm,
not crisis. And so that kind of sparked the energy again to say, I want to be a doctor. But what happened, the time was changing. That's when alternative therapies were coming to the forefront. So it kind of opened the door for me to be able to go back to school and learn how to become a naturopathic practitioner. But one of the things that I knew reflexology and had been trained in reflexology before my naturopath. So what I did when I started my naturopathic practice, I incorporated the reflexology into my practice. And it through the years, it evolved into focusing specifically on addressing pain. And
Mm.
that's like how it kind of all evolved. That's a short story.
Yeah. Okay, so let's break this down because some people don't know what reflexology is.
That's
Can you,
right.
let's get into it. What is it?
Okay, reflexology is the art and science of working specific reflex nerve ending points that are found on the hands, the feet, and the ears to relieve stress and pain, to relax the body, to also decrease toxins and impurities in the system, as well as improving circulation. And the way I like to explain that to help people further understand it, if you ever look at a chart of the anatomy and look at the nervous system, you'll see how all the nerve endings begin in your head, running straight through your body with ending points in your hands, your feet, and the ears. And
Mm.
so, what a better way to kind of bring that all together? Say, for example, the electricity went out in your house and you go and flick the circuit breaker and electricity would come back on. But if the circuit breaker didn't work, you'd have to call in an electrician who would come and deal with the wires and say, we need to do some connection. Well, following that same model, a reflexologist does the same thing. We work with the nerve endings that are connected to the brain. It's the message center. So what happens is messages are sent through the nerve endings to the various organs and systems in the body. So when there's stress or discomfort, a message goes to the brain. We got trauma in the area, which it translates into you now have pain in the
Mm.
area. But what happens is, say, for example, I'll use back pain as an example. All
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, you got back pain. Nerve ending is sending a message to the brain. We got pain in the back. Now, what's happening is what people don't understand is pain and stress go hand in hand. It's
Yes.
called the pain stress connection.
Mm.
And what happens is stress is what people don't understand. It's something that happens outside of the body that you bring inside and you internalize on it. So, which means that, say, I got back pain. What's happening is there's stress, and the back may be a weak area,
Mm.
but that stress is trying to come out of the body, and the back is not the means of eliminating toxins and impurities from the body. So what's happening? It's causing pain. So message goes up through the nerve ending to the brain. We have stress in the back area. So what a reflexologist would be doing would to be stimulating that nerve ending to open up that channel so that it can start releasing whatever is the contributor to the pain. But we must understand that that's not the cause of the pain. The pain
Right.
is a result of something going on someplace else in the body. So that's like the whole concept of how a reflexology works and what we do in addressing pain as it relates to health and wellness.
It seems like so much of this goes back to, and from my own, my own experience goes back to the nervous system.
Yes.
So
The
much.
nervous system is the communication center that connects with the command center, which is the brain. And so it communicates. And let me give an example so that people can better understand. I always like to use the example of, you hit your elbow, the funny bone on your
Yeah.
elbow. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Ouch.
Exactly. You're going to do a verbal response, and that can be nice or it can be not so nice, but you're going to do a verbal response. Nerve endings picks up the verbal response, sends that message to the brain. Then the brain is saying, what are you going to do next? What will you
Maybe you like hold.
You're going to
Yeah.
touch it. You're going to rub it. Nervous systems, nerve endings send the message to the brain. You need to release the
Mm.
body's natural pain relievers. known as endorphins to that area that's under stress. That's the communication that's going on via the nerve endings to the brain. So what? We do verbal release, then we touch it, and then we get a natural relief. That's the same thing that happens in reflexology. That's what we do. We activate the brain to release the body's natural pain relievers, because the body has its own system for relieving pain, releasing toxins and impurities, but we have to work with the body. And I always say practitioners have to understand that we assist the body in the healing process. And for our patients and our clients, you have to assist your practitioner in the healing process, because it's a give and a receive and a give. It's circular. And that's how healing operates from a natural perspective.
Yeah, you have to be open. You know, I find a lot of people get stuck in like the fear mongering of like the reliance on, and I've had this actually, I think it was yesterday, talking to, like a potential client, and they're on a lot of medications, and that's fine, right? Do that. That's fine. No one's telling you to stop
Exactly.
with the Western medical model. No one's saying that. But what people get confused is they're like, well, if I go here, then I can't go towards the naturopathic way or holistic health way, because that doctor that you're speaking to most of the time in the Western medical model is like, oh no, you can't do that. That's not going to work. You can't do both. But, I implore a lot of people to listen, common sense. Listen to your body, listen to what it's telling you. If you really feel like this is going to help you, which it will, um definitely be open and really like give it a try, because most of the time, I'm sure you hear this a lot too, you'll have individuals who will come to you for a session or whatever it is, and they'll see you, and then at the end they'll probably be like, wow, I didn't know I needed that. So
You
many of the
said
time.
some, you said something that's real key about being open. The reason most people aren't open, when you think about what's the number one reason a person goes to a doctor?
Fear.
Not fear, they're in pain.
Right.
The number one reason a person goes to a doctor is in pain. Now let's switch this. We're talking from a business perspective.
Okay.
When you go to the store, you know exactly what you want when you're going to make a purchase. So you're going to go look to find what it is you want. That's the business. I'm going here because I want to purchase this. Put health into a business perspective. When I go to my doctor, what is it I want my doctor to do? Relieve my pain. I'm here because I'm in pain. I want to relieve pain. But what's the process? First thing when you go to the doctor, you're going to tell the doctor you're in pain in such and such a part of the body. So what's the doctor going to say? Well, we need to take some tests.
Right.
When we take some tests, then we can get back and find out what the problem is. But in the meantime, here's a prescription to relieve your pain. Now, how can you relieve a pain you don't know what it is?
Right.
But that's the process that we've gotten into. So what we have to start doing now is, remember when I said about the pain stress connection is so important to relieving pain. When clients come to me, the first form of touch I'm going to do is called listening. Because when you listen, my clients, my patients are what? They're able to talk to me about their pain. Now, what am I listening for? I'm not listening for the pain. I'm listening for the stress.
Yeah.
The contributor to the pain. Now we're going to talk about that. Now, what happened? I listened to you. You got it off your chest. So now what are you doing? you're starting to find some relief from within. You're doing it. I'm not doing it. You're doing it. Now we can move to the reflexology to give you what you came here for. Reflexology as the vehicle we use to relieve pain. Now that your pain is relieved, you're now saying, okay, I'm feeling better. So what does that do? That now opens the door for us to move into integrative approaches to healthcare related to what was the contributor of the stress that led to the pain that's now taking effect in your body. So does that mean I need exercise? Do I need to drink more water? Do I need some energy work? Do I need a cleansing? Do I need to relax? You have to look at all of those things to put that together, because we're talking about the body as a whole and not in bits and pieces. And that's what the contributing problem is in terms of health. So, which means what? As I listen to you, you're now open to listen to me. As I understand what's going on with you, you're now open to start looking at other alternatives that you can do to help yourself in the process. So it's a cycle, but it's a two-way street that we have to be moving on. It's not one way.
Right. You're not sitting there saying, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. And then the person feels like, oh, that's a lot. I'm a little overwhelmed. And then they get into that freeze response and they're like, I'm not going to do anything now.
Exactly. And see, the other thing to add to that is we've got to understand, and I use this example, the automobile.
Mm.
The automobile is a carbon copy of our body. It's the model is exactly the same. The operation is exactly the same. You buy your car and the salesperson, every 6 months you got to go do maintenance. You got to do this. The body requires the exact same thing. But we don't deal with the body like that. So when all of a sudden the engine light comes on in the car, or we're hearing some clanking somewhere, we automatically take it to the mechanic and we'll tell the mechanic, this is what's happening. But the mechanic is operating from a mechanical point of view in terms of being able to solve the problem that you have with your automobile. So we do our bodies the same way. We take our bodies to the doctor and say, oh, I got knee pain. And the doctor's automatically supposed to know what they're to do with the knee pain and relieving it. You've got to stop treating your body like you do your automobile. You've got to stop looking at your doctor the same way you work with your auto mechanic. The two are different, and your body is different. The other thing is you have to value your body. So the way I always tell my clients, now, your body can be one of two things. It can either be a temple or it can be a warehouse. Now, which one is it? In a warehouse, we just store stuff, put stuff away. We may even, if it's a temple, it's something sacred that you're going to value. You're going to do. And so once you start looking at it from that perspective, it changes dynamics. And it's what I say, this is how we can put the heel back in healthy.
That is so true. The heel back and healthy. I love that.
It's a missing piece.
It really is. It really is. So when you are, kind of, let's just say someone comes to you for the first time, right? Obviously you're listening. How are you approaching the situation, right? Are you starting off with reflexology? Are you kind of introducing them to a healthy lifestyle? Like how does your approach work? Because you have your own methodology, so I'm curious how you do things.
Well, the first thing I do is, like I say, I open it with listening. And let me tell you how that happened. Back in 1987, I wrote my book, Reflexology Today, A Family Affair.
Mm.
And when I wrote the book, I was on my way to China to study reflexology.
Wow.
And before I got to China, one of the things I learned that became a confirmation for me, in China, the doctors spend anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half with their patients. And they're listening and they're processing before they even get to the treatment phase. And so what happens is when the doctor, after the doctor has talked with the patient about the problem, it then will bring in the family members.
Oh.
And with the family members, they discuss the health problem and put up a means of prevention that's related to the health problem so the other family members don't have to experience it. And that was my confirmation, because I always felt that at least one family member should know how to do reflexology as a means of relieving pain and stress. So that gave me the confirmation for my book. And that's what my book is all about. It's a self-help guide for families to come together and be a part of the healing process. See, that's what's missing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
When we think of our health problems, we have to understand it from a family perspective and not an individual perspective. It's about the whole family. And so learning from that and going through that experience from China and bringing it back to my practice, that's why I focus on listening.
That is huge.
That's the first thing I do, because my business is about touch. So the first touch is to listen. Now, after the listening,
hold on. I need to pause you there, because this is a key point right here. And no joke, I experienced this today. I had a potential client who was suffering with MS and doesn't do anything to cater to her health and well-being. Nothing. Now, we were going to chat yesterday, comes back today and says, I'm sorry, I cannot chat. I cannot talk about this or continue further, because my husband does not want me to and does not believe in holistic health. This right here is such a problem, and I see this. So I'm really glad you're bringing this up, because a lot of the times people will not cater to their health because they're fearful, judgment, all these things come from family, because they don't believe in it and they're not on board. So they will not cater to their health because of family. I see it happen all the time.
It's so important. But see, that's why we have to learn how to touch again. Remember, I hate to say this, this is my unscientific study as it relates to, remember, we were in the pandemic for 2.5 years. And the key problem connected with the pandemic was touch.
Right.
We lost the ability to touch. And as humans, we are touching beings. Touch is crucial for our survival. And because we don't touch, and even an example that you just gave, I'm sure that's connected to going through that pandemic experience where we don't touch anymore. And when I say touch, I'm not necessarily talking about physical touch. I'm talking about touch from the standpoint of, let me smile at you. That's a healing touch. Let me be able to acknowledge you, even with my eyes, to say, I care about, that's a touch. We've got to reconnect ourselves to being able to touch one another again in a positive way. We're so stuck on the negative connotations that's related to touch, but touch is not physical. Touch is mental, touch is emotional, and touch is spiritual. And we have to be able to connect all of them, because that's the role of healing. They all connect. That's what's called mind, body, spirit connection. which goes along with the pain stress connection. Mind, body, spirit is the relief to the pain stress connection. And we have to learn how to incorporate that so that it's a full circle in terms of the yin and the yang principle.
Yes, now you are speaking my language.
It's
Um,
so important.
so important, and we've really been taught to not trust it and step away from it. And you've been doing this for a really long time, so I'm sure you've probably seen the pattern of where it's transpired. Um, and I think fear just has such a big role in people not taking care of themselves and not it's like a distrust kind of thing where they don't trust their bodies.
Well, see, when you use the word fear, it's false evidence appearing real.
Mm,
That's all fear is. Fear doesn't even exist because it's
right.
something that's inside your head. Here we
Right.
go again. Something from the outside I'm bringing inside and I'm letting it operate. So, in other words, you are no longer in control of who you are.
Mm,
You're now giving your control over to something that's doing what? Leading you in a direction that you don't even know where you're going.
right.
But because of what's known as, we're accustomed to the quick fix, we got to understand that whatever health problem that you had, trust me, it did not come overnight. The body
Right.
was giving you some warning signs all along. And all of
Way
a sudden,
before.
you may have a little pain here. Oh, it's a little uncomfortable, but I'll deal with it. Then the body's going to come back again. It's going to get a little more intense. Oh, this is it's a little bit uncomfortable here today. I don't do nothing. And then the body say, okay, I'm going to put you down now.
Yeah.
And the body puts you down.
So
All
true.
because I gave you some warnings to help you because you needed to rest. You may needed to cleanse. You may needed to some water may be in need. You may needed some
Yeah.
nutrition. The body was trying to tell you I'm in need of something and you're not paying attention to what I'm in need of. And if you don't give it to me, I'll show you what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the corporate behind all of the health illnesses that we're facing today
Yeah.
because we did not listen. We didn't pay attention. And
Mm,
so this built up fear is connected to what? The quick fix. And
mm.
there is no quick fix.
No such thing.
And until we understand that and know that there's a process, there's a system, and if we flow with the system and flow with the process, you'll get back on the other side where you were well. The thing about pain is people have come to adjust their minds and their bodies and their spirit to feeling the pain and saying, this is a permanent reality.
Right.
And it's not real. You're
Mm.
making it permanent when it's not real.
Taking that on as an identity.
Exactly. Exactly. And so those are the things that we've got to understand that each and every one of us is created to be our own healers. All we have to do is take the time to listen.
Mm.
And once we listen, you're on the road. You're going to be blessed with the healing that you so badly want. And the thing is, you got to want it. I mean, some people don't want to be healthy. Some
A
people don't
hundred
want to be
percent.
healed. Some people like being in pain.
Yep.
And if that's your reality, that's one of the lessons that life is teaching you that you have to go through.
Mm.
That's all that is. When you learn that lesson, that you release from that, and guess what? You get a new one.
Mm. Mm. Yes, that is exactly true. I know it. I know it. And that's part of your lesson. And if you want to listen, you listen. If you don't, You know, it's going to be a continuing cycle. People do become addicted to their pain, though. They become
Yes,
addicted to it. And
exactly.
yeah,
And a lot of that happens. Here we go again. It's like what you're talking about. The fear that's connected to not being educated, the
right,
fear that's connected to not seeking information. And if you focus from that perspective, then you're going to be stuck there. And
right.
so the way to get out of that is to what you said earlier about trust. When you don't trust yourself, you can't heal.
You can't. It's not possible.
You can If you don't trust yourself, you can't trust anybody or anything. Trust begins with trusting who you are
Mm,
and
love
just
that.
going for it. Another thing I always like to say,
Mm,
which is really a sad thing about adults.
mm,
Adults get to a certain age where they think, well, I'm mature and this is what I'm supposed to do. And you get stuck. It's
mm,
called being in the box. You're stuck. So when you get stuck, you don't step outside that box. You think that everything is in that box. And so what happens is you forget the one most precious thing that you ever had. And that was being creative.
mm.
Lose the
Yes.
ability to be creative. And when you're creative, you're having fun. Because what are you doing? That's what children do. Children who are allowed to be creative have fun trying this, doing this, making this happen. We've lost all of that. And as adults, I always tell my clients, find a day to let the little girl and little boy inside of you come out and play. Get silly. There's nothing wrong with that. You are entitled to have a silly day. Just be silly and find out how relieved you will be able to feel when you tuned into who was that young person that used to have fun. We forget about all that because I look at how adults relate to young people, and they are the most stressed people right now. It's young people. And here we go again. You know why they're stressed? Because what? We're not touching them in a positive way, mentally,
Right.
physically, and emotionally. And they are hungry for it. And that's a generation of people that you're talking about being afraid of it. They are scared of touch. They do not want you touching them. And that's because no one has ever shown them how to relieve stress and pain using the power of touch.
Mm. And then it
As
becomes this
mhm.
vicious cycle.
Because adults know, I mean, you'll go may get a massage, or you go get your nails done, you get your hair done, something. But we don't tell young people that we do these things as stress relievers. And you are entitled to have the exact same thing. That's why we got to get back to it's a family affair using the power of touch.
Absolutely. I love that so much. Now, as we wrap this up, are there any
Mhm.
words of wisdom you would like to leave the listeners?
Well, before we close out, there's
Mhm.
an African tradition.
Mm,
When you come to someone's home for the first time, you bring a gift.
mm,
I bring a gift for you and your listener. And that gift is medication-free alternatives in relieving stress and pain. It's a download of all of different techniques you can use medication-free for pain and stress. And all they have to do is go to touchology reflexology.com and download that poster, which will help them find some alternatives. And that's my gift to you and your listeners.
I love that. Thank you. I'll put all of that in the show notes too.
And one of the things the message I would leave to your listeners is that understand that your birthright is to be healthy. You were born to be healthy, and respect that that the healing that you want, the healing that you possess is inside of you. And understand that it is the power of touch that heals all.
Mm, love that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
If you like this episode, oh, actually, where can people find you?
Oh, thank you for a minute.
I
You
forgot.
you can go to my website, focusonhealing.com. And when you go to my website, go to the contact page. And if you have any questions that you want to know about how to relieve pain, medication free, by all means, I will get back to you. Ask me any questions, any pointers you're looking for. You can also, my book is available in hard copy and download. You can find that on my website, focusonhealing.com. And I'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This was such a great conversation. If you guys like this episode, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.